This is allowing me to make this very different from my one that my Patreon see, or if you're wondering which one is for Martin Luther King Day, just this mug, my favorite child gave me this mug, is from my dear friend Bella in the UK, and I decided to just pose with it for a moment to make this an easy video for you to find. I could have used it to drink from, but I like it better here. I have certain cups that mean a lot to me, filled with brushes and things that I use for. This is paintbrush one, but I have a sculpting tool one over here that's from the Foster Farms chickens, etc., etc. Good morning, happy Martin Luther King Day. Not MLK, as I said on Patreon page. It sounded a little bit too much like milk, so I said no. Just, I don't know why we abbreviate everything. You know, everything, LOL, whatever. Just write it out. I don't know. It could be because I'm 63 and I just don't get that abbreviation thing. So, you know, what am I going to do? How are you? Are you happy to have a day off in order to celebrate a man whose whole life was about being peaceful, the Prince of Peace? And being of mixed races, it's a very special day for my family. And we just are just taking a moment to celebrate the joys that we had while listening and hearing from this amazing, amazing man, Martin Luther King. His march that many are talking about today in the news, and I know I said escape from reality, but this is something that's super important. A lot of my family were in that march, and a lot of them were hurt in that march, but they really believed it. They were older than me. I was really young at the time. And but it was great to hear from them what it was like. It's always more interesting to hear history straight from someone. So, for example, my grandfather on my father's side was around during the Pony Express. So I could read about the Pony Express in a book, or I could hear him tell me the stories of the Pony Express from seeing it himself. And this is why I think I tell good stories, and I love good storytelling, because my grandfather lived to be over 100. He was born in 1874. So to hear him talk to me about all of the things that happened between 1874 and 1974, and in 1974 when he passed, I was 14. So it's like, wow, I would sit in just enthralled with him as he would tell the stories of the car, his first car he saw, the plane, the phone, the washing machine, the landing on the moon in 1969. We were there. So there was my grandfather who had witnessed the first, had witnessed planes developing and coming from the invention to, and then landing on the moon. So me, my father, and my grandfather, there's 3 generations there experiencing the moon. Me, because wow, what I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. But my dad, he was living through that time. My dad was born in 1933. So he was living through part of that time. And then my grandfather, who just saw every invention. And I remember saying to my grandfather, all I want is to have a life like yours, where I see great inventions and magic happen from the time I was born up until the time I leave this earth, right? And it's happened. So the first thing that really got me was the wall coming down, because that wall between East and West, Germany and Austria and all those places over there, was a big deal. It was scary. People got shot. It was really, so when that came down, and anytime I see a piece of it here in California, we have pieces of that wall in various museums and places. It's just great. When that came down, I really thought, this is the beginning of history for me. The landing on the moon, then that, and then the space shuttle. The opportunity to see a spaceship not only go, but come back and go again. And now, of course, we have the Dragon and a space station that's really up there. That's international. It's not just US, it's everybody. It's cool. It's really, really cool. It's really cool. And then going from a phone that's a murder weapon to something that's a computer in your hand. You know, I think one of my favorite things about the iPhone, and I'm not really a fan about the iPhone because it follows me everywhere. But one of the things I love about it is maps. Because if I audition in Beverly Hills, one of the hardest things about being in Beverly Hills when I'm doing an acting audition, this of course is before the pandemic, is that I can't get out. I can get in, but you can't get out. And that's because they have all these one-way streets. They have all these restrictions in parking. I mean, rich people live there. So there's a lot of caveats that they have. You can't park in front of their street unless you live there. And the streets don't necessarily go both ways. And it used to take me forever to get home because I would be pulling into the wrong areas. Now I just hit maps and it gets me home. And I am so grateful for maps. I can't even tell you. That is a huge, big deal for me. Every time I use it, I'm like, oh, I just love maps, telling me where there's accidents and traffic so that I can avoid it. I just think that's one of the greatest things since sliced butter. We used to have a paper. Those of you who are as old as me or older remember the Thomas guides, where you open them up and you look to see how to get from A to Z in a Thomas guide, a book, and they used to print mistakes so that if their books were duplicated, they'd know where the source was. This is the Thomas brothers who made these maps. So it's just, was I thinking of talking about this today? Not really, but you know me. I'm coming into talking about stuff like that. It's really, really funny that that's like popping up. Also, I want to mention that yesterday was my family day. I think I've mentioned that before. And one of the things the family said, especially my dear mother-in-law, TERRI HARDIN, who is just the most elegant woman you want to meet. She just keeps getting more elegant, like a fine wine. She just gets better with age. Being in her presence is such an honor for me. She is a lady. She can rock a pair of jeans, this woman. It's just amazing. And she's been isolated because she's 90 and high risk. And so she has this beautiful cat named Bashful that my stepson Ian gave her. And it's Bashful and she are just been two peas in a pod. But she noticed that she was going through some emotional roller coaster herself, and she didn't quite know how to react to it, like many of us. So I said, hey, why don't you subscribe to my YouTube channel? And then if you want to listen, pop in. If you want to listen later, it'll pop up, hit that little bell. So she did. So she might be listening today. She might not necessarily comment, but she might be listening. I was very excited because I think she'll really enjoy some of the silly stuff that, some of the things that I come up in my head, always wanting to tell you stories and be here to do that. Right. And the other thing I want to point out is my sister and brother-in-law. Lindsay has an older sister. Her name is Melanie, and she's a lovely, perky, jolly person. And then her husband, who I was introduced to back when I was introduced as Sam, but his name is Saul. So I try really, he's like most of you guys. If I screw up your name, he's forgiving. But I want to say Saul. If he wants to be called Saul, I want to call him Saul. But I tend to slip and call him Sam because that's how I know him. And Sam will always have a very special, his name is Saul Cracchiolo. And if you like Tower of Power, the trumpeter in Tower of Power is Saul. So he's no slouch. He's A-list trumpet player. As is Melanie, she's A-list singer. She was backup singer for Tower of Power for several times on a few albums. Anyway, they're not your high school talent show, talent. They are the real deal. And one of the things they wanted to announce yesterday on this family call, we do this Zoom call every Sunday. And one of the things they said was that they're creating a studio in their home. And I am so excited about this because they are really talented, both of them. seriously, seriously talented. And one of the things that's nice about that is that I'm sure you've all noticed that one thing the pandemic has done is that people who sing have created beautiful places for us to relax and listen to them do their stuff. They create a channel, they create a podcast, they create something where you can just sit and listen to their music nonstop. Some of them have done it for charity events. They are just killing it. The musicians are killing it. Wouldn't you say they are? All the creativity coming. I mean, artists are too. A lot of people are doing some great stuff, but I've just really seen music take a leap because when their venue was taken from them, a lot of them didn't just sit and cry in their coffee. They said, what are we going to do about it? And the voice was there. And I just love it. I got to tell you, this is one of the things. Music has been just phenomenal. And when Melanie and Sam said that they were building a studio, I am so excited for them because you guys can then hear their music. They write their own songs. They used to. I can remember a couple of years back. Well, Melanie, Sam, it's probably a lot further back than that, but let's just say back a little while back, there was an amazing restaurant that I used to love to eat. It was kind of a middle restaurant, but it was called Clancy's Crab Shack. Do you guys remember Clancy's Crab Shack? I used to love it. Well, Clancy's decided for a little while to do kind of an evening affair where it was a little bit comedy club, but it was mostly loungy. So you could go to the back, sit in more comfortable chairs, have a meal, and listen to singing and music. It could be just nice jazz, or it could be I'm trying to think of the other word, but again, as my friend Deanna says, I'm having one of those brain days. But it could be any kind of music. It could be classical. But Sam and Melanie, Saul and Melanie Cracchiolo, did a couple of sets there where they brought their own music. She sang songs that they wrote, and he played the trumpet, and it was great. It was phenomenal. So Melanie and Saul, if you're listening today, I love you because they joined the channel too, because they were saying there's a time when you say to yourself, I can't binge watch more movies. And that's what they kind of said. They like binge watching movies, but they wanted to do something different. And because of many of you on YouTube and here on Facebook, both of them, that you said that this is something that you look forward to every Monday and Friday, I mentioned that to my family and said, if it turns out it's not for you, turn it off. You don't have to stay here if you don't want to. But if you do and you enjoy this kind of thing, then yeah, it's good. It's good. And I want to say I'm really proud of them because I'm excited for them, because when that studio goes up, I think they're going to change their lives. I think their lives are going to really explode. And I've been wanting them to build their own dream for a long time. But it's not good to push people when they don't ask. Do you know what I mean? So I've just been secretly going, I'd love for them to build their own dream. And they will. They're so talented. And I can't wait for you guys to experience what they're going to produce. And it's going to be sometime this year, I'll bet. And if I can do anything to promote them, you bet I'm going to. So welcome to Sam and Melanie and my mom, if you happen to be listening right now. Yay. Okay. So dinosaurs. Did you get to see the Beretta Brothers dinosaurs presentation last night? The Beretta Brothers at youtube.com. If not, Google that and see them. I did post on Instagram and Facebook how to link, so you can go back through my Instagram if you want. Click on that. All this month, the Beretta Brothers are doing a countdown to dinosaurs because Disney Plus is going to re-release the show. Yay! And so you get to hear behind the scenes about the characters. So 2 weeks ago, at the beginning of January, they kicked off with Earl Sinclair, Grandma, and I forget the other character they did, but I haven't listened to that show yet. And then yesterday, Sunday, we did Baby Sinclair, Robbie Sinclair, and Charlene Sinclair. And my dear friend Bruce Lanoyle was on it, but we got to see Steve Whitmire. I was so excited. Got to see Steve Whitmire, got to see Jill, got to see Jane, got to see people I had not seen in a very long time. And I really got to have a somewhat conversation with Kevin and John, two of my favorite people. Baby Sinclair, Team Baby, was one of the most fun things I have done in my life, and I really, really enjoyed it. And Kevin is an amazing, as you know, you guys know Kevin. And the Beretta brothers were saying that Kevin is kind of like Bob Hope. He's popping in because Kevin did a lot of characters. And at the end of this month, January 31st, the Beretta brothers are going to host another one. So next week, it's every Sunday, the month in January, to count down to Disney Plus's release of dinosaurs. Okay. So next week is going to be, and it's Sunday at 3:00 Pacific. So, or 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern. My math again. But at 2:00, you tune in and you get to hear and talk. You get to listen to the talk with all the people who created and made dinosaurs. So next week's going to be Monica DeVertebrae. I think it's also Roy and Fran. Yeah, I think that's it. And then on the last day, it's going to be all of the ensemble dinosaurs, because all of us did, well, I think all of us did a lot of ensemble characters. I mean, maybe not, I'm trying to think, maybe not Bill, because Bill was Earl and Earl was always in shots, but I think maybe he did too. In any case, it'll be characters. We'll talk about shows like When Food Goes Bad, when we got to play the food. We'll talk about Howard Hand Up Me, which is another character that Kevin Clash made famous. So funny. So funny. Oh, and we also talked Richfield yesterday. We talked about Richfield yesterday. So you'll get to meet. So go back and look at those shows. And please subscribe to I think it's good to subscribe to their channel. They're very clever guys. And Bill Beretta was in the suit of Earl. So you'll see Bill, and then his brother is Gene, who is also an amazing and accomplished puppeteer. So you get to hear from both of them, and it's super cool. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah, it's in fact, let me just show you. I'll show you a picture so you guys can have a visual of if it's in here. Oh, goodness, it may not be in here. Oh, yes, it is. Here we go. So here's a picture for you, too. So this is this talks about week 2, and this is how. So see, www.theberettabrothers.com. This was the one that we did yesterday, and they've got another one next week and the week after. So look for me again at the last week. Okay. And also this was a picture, and Kevin was just like, I need that picture. This is another one you may remember. Here is Team Baby Sinclair. So people were saying it must be a windy day because they looked at my hair. My hair could be sculpted into any shape back then. I'm very happy to have dreadlocks now. But that is what that's what Black people's hair looks like with white people mixed in, or it's my sister. But here is John sitting next to me. And of course, you all remember Kevin, and then the baby, the big, big baby. And then here's a nice little shot of Earl and baby looking at a book. Isn't that precious? That's kind of like a publicity shot. And then finally, this was a Christmas card that Henson sent out to us of baby having a good old time. So yeah, guys, check it out. There's great pictures. There's great people. It was great for me because it was like a family reunion, and all of us are aching to see each other in person. So if you get to see that, please go there and check it out. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Okay? Yay! Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yes, 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 indeed. So Disney Plus, I did say I was going to talk about Disney Plus, and I wasn't only going to talk about my shows. But did you notice that a few new things dropped on Disney Plus? Now that I am a member, thanks to my husband for giving it to me as a Christmas gift, Disney Plus is just full of surprises. And have you guys caught WandaVision? Baby! Now, full disclosure, you know me, I'm not a superhero kind of a gal, but WandaVision intrigued me. And my husband knew I was going to fall in love with WandaVision. Okay, so for those of you who are like me, what is WandaVision? WandaVision involves two characters that you're very familiar with. One of them is Vision, and he's the one with the crystal and the red and the blue, and he's in love with that beautiful redheaded lady that's known as the Scarlet Witch. My husband said she's called the Scarlet Witch, and she has powers. I always thought she was mostly fire, but my husband says no, she has all kinds of powers. So I said, okay, so she's extremely powerful. That's all I know. You guys fill in the blanks because you guys can, like my husband. And then Vision, who is very tall. I thought Vision was an alien, but my husband says no, he's an android that was built, and then these two fall in love. Anyway, Wanda, there's a new series called WandaVision, and it's very interesting. What I liked about it, and I've only seen 2 episodes, they're dropping the episodes carefully, very much like Mandalorian. They did 2 episodes, and we have to wait now and each week watch the new one. But what they did was they are celebrating 1950s sitcom shows like the Dick Van Dyke Show, which was one of my favorite and still one of my favorites. Bewitched, another favorite with Elizabeth Montgomery. And then we think they're probably going to just go through the various shows and celebrate them. So one that looks like I'm trying to think what my husband said is coming up is Maybe I Dream of Jeannie. So it kind of opens with this kind of interesting thing. And then there's something about the world that's a little off. But if you haven't caught WandaVision, I highly recommend it. And I can also say to you very, very sincerely, you don't have to be a Marvel or a DC person. You can enjoy it just for what it is if you're not really into this superhero genre, which I'm kind of only average. I like characters in it, like Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy and Baby Groot. But the thing is you don't have to be. You can really enjoy this at its own face value. So I wanted to be sure and let you know WandaVision is a thing you really need to see because it's really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. My husband says you go through Disney Plus and you kind of get tired and you run out of stuff. Maybe it's because I don't watch it 24/7. I'm working here. You may have remembered that I have Ghosts ticket out. Here they are. Here's a set right here. Hitchhiking Ghosts that need to go out to their families. So we start to ship this week. And so I've been in ghost mode. So I've been working on that. I've been working on a couple of other things. So I don't get to binge as much as I'd like, but on family day, I do get to. So yesterday was a little wild and crazy. So after I finish up with you here today and we go our separate ways, we're going to make family day be part of today as well. Because yesterday was the show, the dinosaur show, and there was also a family gathering with Lindsay's family, and then there was other stuff. So I said to my husband, don't worry, we will do we'll get together today and just kind of sit and talk. One of the things that's kind of fun about us as a couple is that Lindsay and I both like to learn new stuff. So he's been on this coffee kick. He loves coffee. No ground coffee for him. Always gets the beans. Always looking for the best way to preserve the beans. Always looking for ways. Lately, he's really he's really jumped into preserving those beans to the best of their ability and how to make an amazing espresso. So he's learning about grinders. He's learning about machines. He's learning about, now it doesn't mean he's going to act on anything. It doesn't mean he's going to buy anything. He likes the journey. So I love to sit next to him. We may stretch out on the bed and we're laying back or we're out in front having a coffee. And I just love listening to him tell me about what he's learned throughout the day. And he kind of says, am I boring you? But no, I really love learning it. In fact, last night we watched a couple of videos from a coffee guy who is just like super rivet counter when it comes to coffee. And the guy is very entertaining as he talks about various machines, the molecular chemistry of cappuccino creation. Most cappuccinos have been bitter and sour, and I just figured that people like bitter and sour. But apparently, no, there's a formula to making a good cappuccino. And one of them is the coffee grounds. They have to be fine, and they have to make what's called a puck or cake, so that when you tamp it down and you put it in your machine, and if this is over your head, it was over mine until yesterday or the day before, because my husband was telling me all about it. And he was very surprised that I was able to say, ask a question like, how do you know when the cake is, like, because you're supposed to be able to take this out of the machine and go like this, and it falls out and it keeps its shape. So I was like, wow, because that's kind of sculpture-y, isn't it? So artistically, I'm fascinated about what's going on in people's lives. And he is just so cute right now, looking at all these videos and talking to me about grinders and talking to me about anything. And throughout that, Deanna, if you're watching, had suggested this cup for me. You see me drinking from it. Well, the reason, I used to have a Tigger cup. You remember the Tigger cup? Well, the reason it's this one is because I have a plate that keeps this hot. So when I'm talking, I go on camera every Monday and every Friday, starting at 8:35. And then I jump over here after I've talked to my patrons. So on a Friday, you know how long I go. So by the time I'm done, it could be 3 or 4 full hours. So I sip my tea through the day to not only help my voice, but it's great to have it hot. And again, a shout out to Deanna Shanley, because I love it. I love it, love it. And it's hot and it's warm and it's delicious. And I drink tea. Okay, I'm a tea person. But Deanna said, Dr. D, as we call her on the Patreon page, Dr. D suggested that perhaps I get a tea kettle. And my husband has been kind of looking, and it needs to be cool. I don't want one that looks ugly. I want a cool looking one. And I found a really cute one, but my husband found one that I like even better. It's very Japanese looking, and it's got a very thin spout, which means a slow pour. Well, that's usually used in coffee to do what I just learned was called a pour over. I had no idea what this meant at all. Now I know what it means. Anyway, the pour over coffee, it puffs up, which my husband says is called blooming. And then you pour it. It actually takes about 15 minutes to make this coffee. Who would have known? Coffee's not my obsession, but I love to hear from people who it is their obsession. If I love to learn about anything, that's your obsession, okay? If you love numbers, I want to hear about it. If you love, if there's something you love in your life, like one of the things we talked to on Patreon was these little kits. Have you seen these little kits? These are called diamond art. And I guess it's called diamond painting. But they're really small, and the little, you let me just explain to you a little bit about these. I know I'm digressing, but this is another thing that Deanna did a spotlight on our Patreon page where we feature a person who gets on Patreon. And if you want to be a part of Patreon, let me just pull up that banner so that if you want to, you can join. There it is right there. Patreon.com. Go there and check it out, because we talk art. We help each other with art projects. We help each other maybe get their art to the marketplace. We talk about that all art, that the word artist is basically anyone who's passionate about what they do. So let's say you might be a Mary Maid. I don't know if you've seen them clean, but they clean like no other. And they clean better than I could ever clean. So they're true artists when it comes to their cleaning techniques. And I look at them in great awe. So what I'm saying is you're all artists if you're passionate about what you do. But I'm going to cut over to this. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Here is I'm going to turn the light on here so you can see it a little better. But you see, this is as big as this design is. Now, the one I pulled out is Sally in kind of a stained glass window, right? Now, when you pull this back, you can see that it has little identifying numbers and colors. You pull it back, you see how over here, I don't want to touch it because I need that adhesive to be sticky. Okay, so, and then you make this image, but it's only this big. Have you guys seen these? It's like, what? So, and it's in a foreign language. Now, according to Deanna, you can find them in English and you can find them on eBay, and they're not that expensive. She says you can get them for about $10, and they're a fun thing to do. So if you're looking for something to do that is different, this is the perfect time to do this stuff. If you're sick of sitting and binge watching, set up a table and build a puzzle or create something like this. Now, I do warn you, you're going to need some really good glasses. I did, because look at the size of these look how tiny these are. I mean, my camera's not even picking it up. I'm going to go like this so that you can kind of see. Look at, these are little tiny, they have got to be, full disclosure, 1/8 of an inch square at the most. 1/8 of an inch square, but they're all in these cute little colored bags. Let me pull the white. Maybe the white will be a little more identifiable on camera. You see that? Look at how small they are. They look like gravel, don't they? And you're going to take these one at a time. I know. I can hear you now going, this is insane. You're going to go one at a time, and you're going to use this little pink tool that has this little tip on it. You see that there? This little tip right here. And you're going to do it one at a time. So if you're one of those people that loves to do these, you can find them on eBay. This was actually a gift to me. This was actually a gift. And I really didn't know what it was. I mean, because you look, it's in a different language up here. See? And this is in English. You know, people who speak multiple languages are so cute. And then up here, I finally saw diamond painting in light blue. I don't know if you can see that, but there it is. So Deanna's spotlight is what helped me to understand. So Deanna was showing her collection on our Patreon page. And what did we learn? What did we experience? What did we so excitingly see? But we learned about these little diamond art pieces. She actually showed us a finished one that someone had done and given to her and made her cry. She was so happy to get it. So just a suggestion, you know, if knitting isn't your thing, if crocheting isn't your thing, you may want to try a little stop motion. Just do something different, right? And head over to the Patreon page. If it's something you'd like to be a part of, please join. It's a lot of fun. It starts at $5 a month, allowing me to do broadcasts like this and do better at giving you content. So thank you to all Patreons involved. It is just the best. But yeah, so when I'm not checking out Disney Plus or the Criterion Collection, because I think I've mentioned that one of the things I subscribe to is the Criterion Collection, because it has all kinds of a plethora of unusual movies, but a lot of them are foreign, so you end up having to read. So I really have to pay attention, or I will put on movies that I know so well that I don't need to look up to watch them. So when I'm sculpting, I have movies on that I know by heart, like The Godfather. I love the Godfather series. So like The Godfather, like 10 Commandments, The Women, the Norma Shearer version. The new one's pretty good, but the Norma Shearer version's better. The original's better. Just tons of that. Just love that stuff. Or Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, Day the Earth Stood Still, Jason and the Argonauts, all that kind of stuff is another one that I just love. So I will put those in the back like my music, because with music I have to dance. So I don't put music. I put movies. I'm a movie person. I just love movies. Not to mention any animated movies. So as far as Disney Plus is concerned, guys, the animated movies are such a joy. I mean, aren't they? I watched Cinderella the other day for the very first time in a very long time. And there are sequences you remember, like Gus Gus trying to carry more cheese than he should, which is just the cutest scene ever. And I remember that. And then I also remember the little girl mouse, looking to thread the needle and her whole arm going through. Two things that I remember and absolutely love about the original Cinderella. But there's a lot more, isn't there? There's a lot more to love in that first animated thing. And then I also love watching it back to back with the only live action one I like, which is Cinderella by Kenneth Branagh, the director, and all of those people that worked on that one. Mwah! Love that one. So it's fun to revisit. And that's what I did a few days ago, is I revisited a few animated ones like Snow White, Cinderella, Jungle Book, my favorite, Bambi, things like that. Fantasia was another favorite of mine. So it's great. So Disney Plus has a lot to offer. I love the documentaries. I love learning about all the different people, but I know a lot of the Imagineers, so a lot of their stories are familiar to me. That doesn't mean that show isn't good. Show is amazing. But I love to hear about the animators, because I don't necessarily know as much about those people involved in animation, and it's so much fun to learn about them. And also to learn about the cast members of Disneyland. There's one called A Day at Disney that I love that series, because it talks about the people who work at Disneyland, which is you may think, if you are not as familiar with Disneyland as many of you are familiar with, that the cast members are the Imagineers, are the animators, are the legends, are the. We're all pretty much cut from the same cloth. And I would say in some instances, you're absolutely right. But in other instances, no. And it's fascinating to see the different facets of each and every person. So if you haven't seen A Day at Disney, you really need to check it out. It is so amazing. It opens with the guy who is a diver, who loves diving. I mean, this is why I do the spotlight on Patreon, because from the your title that goes above your head, like Terry, Disney Imagineer and artist, right? You would never know that one of the things that I love to do is play with Lego, unless you talk to me more, right? So it's the same with you guys on the Patreon page. I love the spotlight because you may start out with what you like to do, your dream or whatever, or what I know about you. And then you go south and tell me something that's like, and I just love that. That's why I crave the spotlights on my Patreon page, featuring each and every one of you that's a member, because I never know what little jewel box you're going to open up and show me. And I'm going to go, oh, and I just crave it. And it's the same for the rest of Terry's Tribe. That's what I call my Patreon page. The rest of Terry's Tribe is the same way. We're just blown away by some of the things you secretly share as you talk. Because I give you an hour on the Zoom on Wednesday in the spotlight, and you just, chat more. And then some interesting little tidbit floats out, and we get to experience it, and we all love it. We love learning about each other, and it's just so fun. It's really fun. Anyway, that's why I love this Day at Disney, because this man stands up and he says, I'm a diver. And you expect him to talk about the Great Barrier Reef or swimming with a whale shark or something like that. No, he swims in the pond at the submarine ride at Disneyland. That's his job, and it's been his job for years. And he dives in between the hours that Disney is closed, and he cleans and maintains the submarine ride. underneath the water. He's with a team of divers that do that. Did you even know there was somebody like that? Okay, maybe you did, because you guys are a little more on the ball when it comes to the details of Disneyland. But I was just blown away. I was impressed. I was very impressed. And then they talk about the day in the life of Candy Maker. I hope they do more in this series because I'm loving it. I'm loving that. So I just thought that would be really fun. So what's the point of this channel and why are you here? To talk about, to just come in from the cold of reality and talk about something different. Okay? You can, when I leave, go back to reality, can't you? I mean, if you want. And sometimes you don't even have a choice. It just, like a tiger, attacks you, right? Anytime you turn on the TV, you get, and honestly, that's the way it is. So on this channel, I may touch base on a few things, like please stay safe, wear your mask and social distance. Okay, done. Because that's our job as people on social media. We have to keep saying to you that we're at the home stretch. So please don't, we're so close, guys. We're at the end of that marathon and we can do this. So stay safe and distance. We're going to get through this. Okay. All right. That's our obligation as people that are broadcasting live. Okay. We've been told by many levels that this is our obligation as people who have a YouTube channel or an Instagram page or a Facebook page and we go live or whatever. It's best that we tweet, whatever, to tweet positively how close we really are and how much we love you, and which I do. And we say that, okay? But then close that box up and talk about some things you can do, If you like to binge watch, maybe you're making some cool little eats that go along with the binge watching, okay? Maybe you make a special drink, or maybe you creating a new kind of chip or popcorn or cookie or pizza or whatever. This is the kind of thing that you got time to create and design. Yesterday, I'm trying, I know, I had heard just for a small split second, the Fork Report, which is on KFI, Neil Saavedra. He does a great show if you ever get to see it. I don't get to listen to it a lot, but in the Fork Report, and he was talking about how because of the pandemic, he went out to his garden, which was overgrown with weeds, and he's starting to now clean it up and get the herbs and everything that he loves, because he cooks, he's a chef. And that way, when he's grilling outside, he can say, I need a little more time, and turn and pluck it fresh from his garden. And he hasn't done that in a while. And so for him, he was very excited to be fixing up a garden that he had let overgrow for a long time. And that's me. I kind of am excited about cleaning my garage. However, it's January. So before I clean my garage, I got to be excited about doing my tax stuff, don't we? I mean, it's a necessary evil, right? Maybe it's not for you. If you're a numbers person, it's, yeah, But for me, it's like, don't forget. I've got to do it. So those, there's those obligations but once those obligations are done, you go, you feel free, don't you? Yeah. And then you can go and do the fun stuff, like, mailing out the January hitchhiking ghosts is very exciting for me. So it started with the prototype. I introduced the prototype. I offered them for sale. I have about 10 left because we've changed the edition size of these beautiful ghosts. We've changed their size, their edition size to only 50. I'm not going to get into that, but there's only 50 sets. And so I think I got about 12 left. But if you got to have them, and they are beautiful, they look like little specters. And what's really neat about them is that when you put them in your case in the dark, they look like they're floating. And you'll also maybe notice, and this camera's pretty good, but you'll notice that the light isn't really solid in any spot. It's soft in some areas. And then it's also bright in some. That's because that's the way specters are, right? A specter is not like a flashlight when you see a ghost. He kind of fades in and out and what? Illuminates. So that's what these do. They illuminate. They are definitely the result of years of me working to perfect them. And it feels really good to see them arriving. And it even feels better that I get to send them out to you. So this is really exciting, but they're only limited to 50. And they're a little bit of an investment. So, but tune in Monday because I have a surprise for you Monday, a week from today, where I will show you something else yummy and juicy. So come back. Yeah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is do what I always do, which is go over to your comments and see what you have to say. And then we will, and I realized on this platform, and Jean has offered to help me, and then a couple other people have offered to help me, that I can get it to where when you comment, I can bring it in, it'll pop up, it'll like pop up, and then the question will pop up on its own. So I just have to learn how to do this better. It's all a learning process. If you're someone who has always wanted to create a YouTube channel or have go live or whatever, just do it. Understand that when I started, I really came into it last year because I had time to sit down with my husband and create, have a spectacular microphone, have a spectacular system where I can cut to different cameras, like this, and show you different things, different ways. So, yeah, but you can start with your phone and put it on a stand and hit live and go. Okay. If you do like I did the first time, which was I had it on vertical and then I tried to turn the phone horizontal and I was like this talking. It shows you that anybody can do this. I had to put in the comments of my very first video, turn the phone. Craziness, huh? Yeah, craziness. What can you say, right? Anyway, yeah. So don't feel bad. You just kind of work your way through it and you warm up and you start to talking. It doesn't have to be live. If you're more comfortable recording something and then posting it, then by all means do that. That's fine. People love videos. So you can start your channel or your page or whatever like that. You don't have to be live. Nothing says, you make it to suit you. I know you've seen a lot of people do various TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and they appear to be jumping through hoops like a circus dog. That's because they've chosen to do that, right? And that's fine. You guys love those funny dances on TikTok and someone's making funny faces or doing whatever. Fine. If they want to do that kind of thing and you guys like it, then yay. But many just want you to peek into their lives like me. I want to share with you. And I don't really want to jump through a hoop like a circus dog. It's just not what I'm about. I'm working to help you to look over my shoulder and see me sculpt and draw soon. And that's what we're working on now, is we're working on this system to get the best angles that we can so that I'm not shooting the back of my head every time I think I'm doing a video. The next thing you know, it's nothing but, wow, what a great dreadlock pattern. You know what I mean? So I am practicing. And that's all it takes, is just a little more practice. And you just keep doing it. I've been doing it for, well, I think one of you posted like 2011. So how many years is that? And not well. I got my YouTube channel in 2011, and then it took 2 or 3 years to figure out how to upload to YouTube. All right. So you don't have to be perfect. Strike perfect out of your vocabulary and go for it. What might you do, you say? What could be my topic? Or I love to do makeup and there's a million people doing makeup, but let me tell you something. Nobody will do it like you. Nobody's going to do it like you. So if you want to do a makeup channel, do it. You might be just the person that reverberates with other people who have been looking through all those makers ones, and these people just aren't fitting. You know, it could be about anything, and I hope you'll try it. Okay, you just I want to do. I want to talk about what. I mean, this fella that my husband's watching is all about coffee and the molecular structure of making a good cappuccino and what makes sweet and what makes not sweet, which was mind boggling to me. There's also a young lady out of Japan who all she does is beautiful music and goes through all of the various types of grinders you can have, pour overs you can do, kettles, cups, camping coffee, types of coffee. She doesn't ever speak. It's just really pretty music, and she's just doing these beautiful photos of the various coffee things you can get. And it is mesmerizing. It is just so soothing and comforting. It's like a massage on your shoulders. It's this beautiful music, and you're looking at coffee stuff, and it's just like, and I don't drink a lot of coffee. I mean, seriously, I don't. And so I still look at it and go, and there's nothing wrong to say that some of these things couldn't be used for tea, like the pots. Now, one of the things they caution you with is that there is a particular pot that has a nice thin spout, like a kitty cat tail. And it is used to do pour overs because you need to regulate and pour over the coffee slowly. Hence this long spout with this special opening so that you pour it easily. So if you want to just pour a cup quickly, that teapot isn't going to happen, right? Those teapots but many people who pour teas like me would love to have tea leaves. Like my friend Randy sent me some beautiful teas in the cans. So what I like about it is I can slowly pour over what tea I like and watch it slowly grow into the consistency that I like. So the molecular structure of teas and coffees have similarities in some ways for some people. That the slow pour would be great for somebody like me, but others may want to go a faster pour, and so you would get a different kind of spout. But I'm really excited about this thin little spout because the pot that my husband got for me is ergonomically balanced so it won't hurt my arm, so that I won't be, and the handle is designed for comfort. And since I sculpt so much, this is why I like this teapot, because I can handle it, I can hold it whatever way works for me. It's counterbalanced, so it doesn't make me tired. It's just under a liter of water. That's the other thing, is many of these were like, this big, and here's a keg of hot water. No. I'm a 2-cupper. Just need a couple of cups, nothing major, when I'm out here by myself in my shop. Just all of a sudden want a little warm drink, want it to stay warm for about an hour on the heating pad. And so what I'm looking for in a teapot is different than many people, in a tea kettle. I don't need to heat, the ocean. I just need a couple of cups. That's all I need. And I want to know the temperature because I love all kinds of teas, all different kind of teas. And each tea has a different temperature that it heats at, which I wasn't clear about. But on YouTube, the pots segue into teas from coffee. So it's pretty exciting. You never know when you follow a thread where it's going to lead you, do you? It's so kind of cool. You're like, okay, I'm learning about coffee. I don't drink it, but maybe I would have a cappuccino if it was sweet. I always thought they were sour and bitters. I'm like, kind of like, do you ever watch Green Acres? Lisa Douglas coffee is what I thought cappuccinos were like, And so most of the time when I have coffee, it's got to have milk in it, which this coffee guy is like, oh, heaven forbid you poison it with milk. Well, which is what I love about him. So he is all about the coffee and the coffee consistency as coffee in its natural state. It's a lot like me being a purist with Star Wars, isn't it? When you could look at someone like that and go, that's ridiculous. But no, it's not. His passion, like mine, is Star Wars, and mine is the original Star Trek and original films mostly. His is coffee in its normal state. And I have to say, I did not get his name because my husband was just showing me the videos, and I was just like, oh, it's the same guy. Oh, it's the same guy. And it's wonderful to watch him. He really gets into, he has a coffee machine, get this, that has an iPad on it that talks about, it records the heat when it loses heat, the pressure, the unbelievable. Who thought coffee did this? I didn't. I got the Keurig, which they go, oh no. Oh dear, you use a Keurig? Well, yeah, I do. Well, kind of like you feel about wine in a box, right? If you're someone who loves wine and someone says, let me get the box, you're like, oh dear. It happens across the board with all of us, doesn't it? It does, right? It does. When someone says Disney's for kids, you go, oh my. So we all react, we all have our favorite things that we love, and we all have our beliefs about it, which means the world is a beautiful place to live in. How did I get back to Martin Luther King, right? Yay. Gotcha. But that's what I'm talking about, right? That's what makes human beings so beautiful, is you learn about the different things. One of the things that I've been doing that I love is stop motion animation, and I'm not good at it. I'm not, but I'm really happy at my progress, even though it's like inchworm progress. Animators would be, oh, isn't she cute? She's so happy because she made the character do this and slide out. But it's a start, right? So I've been doing that, but I remember when I met Harryhausen, who, those of you who know that one of the fathers of stop motion animation was indeed Ray Harryhausen, who, when he was a little boy, he had what I call a Star Wars moment for me. For him, it was seeing the 1933 King Kong. 1933, right? If I got that wrong, you King Kongians, don't hate me. But he saw this King Kong film and it blew him away. It stretched like in Jaws for him, like when seeing Star Wars stretched like in Jaws for me. And when he saw it, he said, I got to learn it. I got to figure it out. I got to learn it. And it was amazing to hear him tell the story. I mean, sitting opposite a group of us, a small group of us, like 20 people, telling us that, sitting in that theater and seeing that, the first thing he said is, I got to meet Willis O'Brien. How am I going to do that? And he did it. And the next thing you know, he was doing things like Mighty Joe Young and helping Willis O'Brien do it. And then later, he was doing his own stuff like Jason and the Argonauts and the Sinbad movies. And Harryhausen was a rock star and is a rock star. And many stop motion animators go, ooh, when it comes to him. And well, they should, right? But I also remember talking to him and him being very upset because he would talk about, in the early days of doing stop motion animation, you used a tool that would indicate, okay, so it was like, I'll use my hand as the example. And so when the person, when you had the face facing forward, you would touch a place with that tool. And then as you animated the figure like this, you might put another bar here to indicate where the face is. And then if you turned it again, you pull these out, you might turn the face like this and put these in again. And then you pull them out and turn again in the air. And then as you start to work up, you pull them out and bring the head up and then touch them again. So these tools were the way a stop motion animator could see where they had been. Later on, there was an amazing piece of equipment during the time of Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach, a thing called the lunchbox. I actually still have one. It's obsolete, but at the time, what an amazing piece of equipment. Now it's more of a piece for a museum because you have now apps that onion skin or tell you where you've been. So Ray's thing was that he was very upset because you had to know where you were, and then you took this film, had it developed, and then you watched it, and if it sucked, your whole day was gone. Whereas the lunchbox enabled you to look back and forth to see if the animation flowed well in stop motion or even regular animation. And now there's an app for that. So Ray was like, "Oh, you've got it easy. You people who say it's so hard, you don't have it." You know what I mean? And it was quite adorable. But that's what I'm talking about. The evolution of things is really exciting to see and experience where things go and how things are. And thank goodness we have an app, because I do my stop motion. I don't know that I have the attention span to work as hard as Ray Harryhausen and Willis O'Brien did back in the day. And if you're someone who likes the original King Kong, you may notice that his fur shivers. Maybe you guys know this, but his fur shimmers when he moves. And his fur shimmers. That's because the animators were touching the fur and bending the figure and posing the figure. So that's where their fingerprints touched the fur and they forgot to fluff it. Yeah? So you watch that. Also, if you have the ability to slow the film down, this is just brilliant. This is so lovely. I hope you guys have a DVD where you can slow it down, because this is the most fun ever. You'll be able to find that tool in a couple of places where the animators were a bit tired and they forgot to pull the tool out before they clicked the frames. And it's just, it's watching this stuff slow down and seeing the behind the scenes is priceless. It's priceless. So Lucasfilm has in their lobby a sculpture of Willis O'Brien and King Kong. Why? Because everybody knows that effects and everything kind of stemmed from that back in the day, and it's just so much fun. Aren't you glad you joined me? You're learning all this crazy stuff that I'm segueing from the left and segueing from the right. But yeah, this is some of the thing, and the only reason I'm talking about it is because this is a great time to try something new. Because you're isolated. Who's going to see you unless you put a camera on yourself? Who's going to see you mess up? Who's going to see you screw up? Paint if you've always wanted to paint. Sculpt if you've always wanted to sculpt. You need some help? Hit me up. I'll help you. Draw. Improv, do puppets, do, whatever you feel like doing. Stop motion. I love stop motion, and I've never really taken the time to do it. So I've done a couple of pieces on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and look for Haunted Mansion Dance Party, that's one my husband and I did. Check it out on my YouTube channel. And also Teacup. We did the Disneyland Teacup. And we used household items because that's fun for me. I mean, I'm going to do like characters sculpted and everything. But right now I'm just playing with objects, and it's been so much fun. I'm thinking of maybe dedicating a YouTube channel to my experimentations, but I only have 2 right now, so it'd be kind of a small channel. So like my husband says, build the content up first and then launch the channel. It's an idea. Tell me what you think in the comments if you would like to watch that, because watching someone's process might make you want to try and do it, right? And stop motion is not dead. It's just something that people keep saying it's dead, it's dead, it's dead. It's not really. It's still alive and kicking, and it's so much fun. And then if it was dead, you just resurrect it is all, right? Yeah. So found objects just makes it so fun. Like you have this box and you move it forward 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 and you click, right? And then you do this and it goes, and what have you sculpted? What have you built? You've just done, you've just played with something, right? And you figured it out, right? You could actually take something. This is a special gift for me because I worked on Ghostbusters, and you could figure out a way that he could stand here. Maybe he's pinned and you do 3 shots, and then you move him here, and then you move him here, and then you move him here, and you take shots every time along the way. How does he anchor there? I don't know. I'm just saying for stop motion. And then when you run it back, it goes. Then, like many animators, you try and figure out a creative way. So how would you get him to start here? And then maybe he looks. So click, 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 click. And then he kind of burrows under the hair. And then he goes under here, because what do animators do but find the funniest distance between 2 points? So you're going to have to figure out, how does this work? But then he would climb under the hair and go over your head and do all this really silly stuff, right? And you have to figure out how it does it with a found object. I may try that and then demonstrate it. But that's the beauty of stop motion animation, and figuring out how can you make an inanimate character move around, because it's the same way you would do with a puppet, right? So that's why stop motion fascinates me. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to be a sculptor or an illustrator. You just pick a character that you like and he becomes your story, right? It can be a box of mints, and then the mints come out and make shapes and go back in the thing, and you're done. See? So that's why stop motion is so fun. So, all right, guys. Okay, so it is Martin Luther King Day. It is a vacation day for all of you. So I'm going to sign off now for those of you who don't want me to pop over to the comments. As many of you know, if you've joined me before, this is the time I go over, and I usually tell stories, warning, I tell stories in between the comments, so you can always come back and look later if you have a life and want to do something other than listen to me talk all day. Which it won't be all day. I'm going to see if I can sign off at 11 so that I can go in and spend time with family and celebrate Martin Luther King. You know, I'm going to make some sweet rolls and popcorn and a nice breakfast today. But anyway, I digress. So for those of you who want to move on and have a lovely time of your own, maybe try some stop motion, maybe some colored pencils, maybe some anything. What is it deep inside that you have been wanting to do that maybe you were hesitant about because people are looking or checking you out? Now they're not. You are free to do it. You are free to learn. And let me tell you a secret that you all know. YouTube can teach you just about anything you want to know. You can Google on, you can search on YouTube and bam, there it is. Seriously. Do you know that during the Ask Me Anything, someone managed to find that United Air Express commercial that I did years ago that got me on the path to getting my SAG card, my Screen Actors Guild card? They found it on YouTube. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put it in a playlist of my commercials and things. And then I'll give you a heads up and let you know it's there. But the commercial that got me on my way to doing the SAG card, I'm still looking for my Philadelphia cream cheese commercial, which is the one where I played a talking Jello mold. And that's the one where I actually got my Screen Actors Guild card. That's the one that I had to pay the money or not get to do the commercial. So I actually became a member of SAG after that, back in the late 70s. So I tried to do what this young lady did. I think it was Melissa Eiler. She found that commercial with the United Air Express envelopes, and there we were. And oh, I have to tell you, Melissa, that I almost cried because I know every voice there. They're my guys, you know. So I want to get that on the YouTube channel so you can see it, because you're going to love it. And I'm going to give a shout out and thank Melissa for finding it. But we're still hunting the Kraft Philadelphia cream cheese, where the final line is, "Isn't it silly not to use Philly?" And it's a Jello mold. And in the beginning, it's got little hamburgers that are talking and little, I forget what else is talking, but all of the food talks. Yeah, and it's puppets. It's puppets. It's a Tony Urbano Productions with me and Tim Blaney and a bunch of fun people, just like the United Air Express envelopes. And that's what got me my SAG card. You know, those two early, before many of you were born, commercials were done. So I want to wish you all the happiness in the world. I hope this little segue out of reality did you some good, some reminiscence. Feel free to post in the comments anything you need to say or you think about. And For those of you joining me through YouTube, the nice way that you could sit in bed with a sweet roll and some coffee or tea or a soda or whatever, you can watch me from your television. Subscribe and then let me know what you like and what you'd like to see in the future, and then share it with your friends who want that little dose of getting away from reality, because we need it, don't we? And I want to help you enjoy it. And if you want to talk about stuff silly, you want to talk about the early days when phones were murder weapons, we can do that, because you try to hit somebody over the head with an iPhone or a smartphone now, the phone will probably shatter before your head does. Whereas back in the day, dial M for murder. Yeah, you might want to check that movie out. It's a good one. It was a murder weapon. So very cool. Anyway, I love you guys. And now I'm going to head over to the comments and see what you have to say. Stay with me if you want, but if not, see you Friday. Okay, who's in here? Melissa, there you are. Right there. Melissa Eiler, I was just talking about you, girl. And Angie, yay. You bet, Angie. I am here for you. And I am, my husband says the key to doing a good channel is to show up. I think that's very profound. Good morning again, Nate. The theme park gals are in the house. Theme park gals, did you see the Beretta Brothers and dinosaurs? It was really fun. The theme park gals say they're 34 and they don't get it either. Oh, you guys are so nice to say that. You are so nice. Hello, Robin O'Toole. Oh, look how cute your picture is. I love when someone like you can wear, I can't wear hats. The dreadlocks just make my head too big. I used to love baseball caps when my hair wasn't dreadlocks, but now I just have to admire and live vicariously through people like you, Robin. Good morning, and everyone. Hello, Rose. Rose, you need to convince Bob that he needs to do a spotlight on our Patreon page. Both of you do, by the way. Both of you need to come because you guys are amazing little secret gems. So many facets to you in your lives. So I think you need to start to think about that. Forgive me. That warm tea, cold day. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, good morning. Glad you're here. Johnny Johnson, how the heck are you, my friend? How is Florida? And talk to me a little bit about Walt Disney World from the inside out. There was a lot of stuff. As you know, last Friday, we talked about the Disneyland passes, annual passports going poof. And I was curious about how it's happening in Florida. A few people weighed in, but of course, you are right there at ground zero, having both the Universal side and the Walt Disney World side, working both at the Magic Kingdom, etc. Love to hear your spin on how you guys are doing over there. And what does this annual passport mean for Florida? Is it bi-coastal or just Disneyland? And then I heard Club 33 wasn't open. Give us the skinny. We'd love to hear it. I think everyone would love to hear what you have to say, John. I know I would. Good morning. Sorry I missed the tribe talk. Was multitasking at work. It's not a holiday. Janice. Aw, when does Janice get a holiday? When is your holiday, Janice? Do you get President's Day? Because, my husband says that's a trade. Now that the national holiday is Martin Luther King, President's Day seems to be the one that they don't give you a holiday. But, let me know how that works. See, I told you I like learning stuff. Bob says, I was just like you when my great-grandmother, born in the 1860s, she was 5 when President Lincoln was assassinated. Wow. Wow. She lived to 103 and I would listen to her stories. Okay, so at 5, did you realize what she was 5, right? How old were you when you started to ask her about stuff like the Lincoln assassination? I can't even imagine that. Bob, her stories must have been, Okay, so it was Pony Express. This is Pony Express reaction for me, because when my my grandfather said, "Yeah, the Pony Express used to go right out there," I was like, "Are you kidding? Are you punking me? Nah, yeah, nah. That's how we got our mail. See that hook up there? See that hook right up there? That's how we used to get our mail from the Pony Express." And I would go, "Seriously?" So this intrigues me, what you're talking about, Bob. This blows me away. If you remember any of her stories, you should be writing a book, my friend, about that, because I would love to hear, because for me, the Kennedy assassination, I was what? I was young, because I remember I was playing with dolls on one of those braided rugs. You may remember those braided rugs. They used to be in like every 1950s house. Anyway, the braided rug was there, and I was playing, and my mother was ironing when we were watching As the World Turns. That was her favorite soap opera. People say, "Where were you when Kennedy was shot?" This is where we were. And we had heard that he was going to be in Dallas. We had heard, my mother loved John F. Kennedy like no other. I mean, the guy is one step down from Jesus for my mother. Okay. So anything John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy family, anything. So years later, when I got to go to the Kennedy compound in, near Boston, they have their, right there. I made sure that I got pictures from my mother, and I made sure Rose wrote my mother a nice letter, Rose Kennedy, the mom, because she was still around. And it was an experience not to be had. My mother really loved it. I wish my mom had been healthy enough. She would have been the one I would have kidnapped to go there, because she just would have been in awe. She loved the Kennedy family. So I'm playing on the floor. She's ironing so, as a kid, you're in your world. You're not in the TV world. I mean, it was As the World Turns. We interrupt this message to bring you an important bulletin. I do remember that. And my mother, and then I remember, like in Charlie Brown, wah, 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 wah. That's what I heard as a child. And then my mother, I remember looking up, because I saw the iron bounce off the ironing board and onto the floor before me, and my mother just fall backwards and hit the ground. She had fainted, completely fainted. And I jumped up and called my father and to come and get her. And it affected her so greatly. And I remember holding her in my lap and in my arms, praying that she hadn't, hurt herself. But so what I'm saying, Bob, is that, wow, what was that for? How did your grandmother experience that news? Because there wasn't TV back then, was there? So how did she hear? And that's a book, man. That's a book. That's a book right there. Thank you for sharing that bit of stuff. Kevin, it was Kevin who was going into the hospital. He'd probably be there for about 5 days. Kevin, I think about you every day, and I send you beautiful, thoughtful, positive prayers. And the ghosts, did you see these ghosts? I'm just going to give you a little preview. Your ghosts are going out this week. So, but there they are. Like, this is no longer a prototype, buddy. This is it. Your ghosts are coming. Yours are the first ones going out. Okay. So you can stay positive. So you work hard to get that fluid drained off your body. And then when you come back from the hospital, they'll be hopefully on your table waiting for you. Hit me up if there's no one going to be at home and you want me to wait a little bit. Otherwise, I'm just going to send them out. And if you've got someone to receive the ghost while you're in the hospital, then by all means, I'm going to get them out to you. Okay. So let me know, what you want to do. Yes, the whole tribe is got you back, my friend Kevin. We all have your back, and a lot of people here too. I'll bet you they do too. We're all wanting you to get well, because you are a lovely, lovely person. John says, "Hi, Dave Clark." It's a nice time. See, we are communicating here. Diane almost fell asleep. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I think Diane, you're really cute. You're talking about the dinosaurs thing. I'm thinking, yeah, some of the stuff got really technical, didn't it? And I was like, you got to talk about the spirit of the show. Some of the things that we did, it's like that's what I remember about Baby. Is that I mean, like, and Kevin even talked about the time that I got the dry ice and really froze me a little when I did the. I would jump back and forth between being Baby's arms and being a character in the refrigerator because that's what we did. We did all this multiple things. And that's why on the 31st of this month, you're going to want to talk to all of us because we're going to talk about shows like When Food Goes Bad and characters like Howard Hand Up Me. So you'll see Kevin again. And then there's a great shot I'm going to have to dig through my things to send to Gene there's a great one of John and I, and we're just hands because there was a scene with the classroom and we were dinosaur hands. So we did all this fun stuff, and there's going to be some great stories that are told about being the ensemble characters. And I think it's going to be a really good show. I hope it is. I hope it doesn't get too technical. It just has the fun stuff, the little antics we used to do. So Diane doesn't have to fall asleep. Tim Gillette, I bet you wonder what is happening with me. It ends with Hitch and it starts with Hitch and ends in hiking ghosts. Okay. They have been a little challenge for me, my friend. And finally, the tsunami that hit me is hitting land and leveling out, and I'm doing my rebuild. And I'm happy to say all is better. So, yay, I'm really happy that I'll get to join you hopefully Wednesday because I miss you all over there. And thank you for popping in and saying hello today. If you watch Legends first, they have 2 7-minute shorts that explain the show and recap of who Wanda and Vision are. Yes, they do. And I've seen it. And then probably forgot it. Theme park gals. Yeah, because this is not to be mean. I really don't care who they are. Okay? And that is not because I am being difficult. The superhero universe isn't my thing. Except for Rocket in Guardians of the Galaxy. But and Baby Groot. But it's just not. It just doesn't do anything for me. I wish it did. I really did like Captain Marvel. But why did I like Captain Marvel? My husband, I remember I was touring in 2019, speaking all over the world. And my husband said, we've got to see this, what was it, Endgame? And I said, okay. And he said, because like Star Wars is for me, this area of expertise is his thing. So if he had to wait and not see it in the first few days, people would have created spoilers. And we all hate spoilers, amen. Hate spoilers. So so I was in Pennsylvania when I booked tickets for me to fly home on the weekend before actually I was going to see Tim Gillette in Texas. So originally I was going to fly from Pennsylvania to Texas to work with Tim Gillette, my social media mentor and magical guy, my blog and video expert, if you will. So if you want to do this and you want somebody, go hit Tim up because he's good. He's really he's able to work with each person at different levels, and mine was 5-year-old level. So he was able to work with the 5-year-old, and it works. Look at what happened. Okay, so basically, what I'm saying is that he told me that we couldn't just watch Ender's Game. We had to watch Captain Marvel first, because it leads in. It's very important. He just kept telling me it was important. I was like, don't tell me why. I'll book Captain Marvel, and then I book the Ender's Game or whatever that 2-part was. And I did. I booked it. And then when we went and saw Captain Marvel, there were only 2 people in the theater, us and one other guy, all alone in the theater because it had been out for a long time. But I love that movie. Why did I love that movie? Not because of her, although she was very good. And she really looked cool in the costume. But because of the pilot and the daughter. those two were so amazing that I was just captivated by them and their characters. I loved them. The rest of it was nice. The rest of it was cool. The rest of it was fun. But I loved those two human characters. So write me off as weird, whatever. It's just not my thing. So when WandaVision came and my husband started to tell me, as just what you theme park gals are telling me, here's the backstory, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no. What's his name again? Because we did see him in the ending of those two-parters. Vision, cool. The one with the thing that the bad guy takes out of his head. Okay, got it. Great, right. And she's the one who can float and is all-powerful. What do they call her? Scarlet Witch? Good. And my husband started to explain more. No. Don't need to know, because people like you, theme park gals, have all of that. Okay? You guys have got that. You guys have got that figured out. And there's no reason for me to do it. You know, I just love it because it's reminiscent about the Dick Van Dyke Show and Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. That's why I'm watching it. And that I also like it because it's a little twisted. We see things kind of, and that I like that too. That it's not what it appears on the surface. And I love that kind of stuff too. Like Stranger Things. Okay? Love Stranger Things. So this is why I saw that, but I promptly forgot it, you know, because then I said, okay, she's this, he's that, good. Now I can watch the show. But if you are someone like me that's like that, that's my point. You can watch the show and not tilt because you don't know their backstory. I don't think it's necessary is what I'm saying. But if you want to know their backstory, there's plenty of places like the theme park gals say where you can find out about these people, right? Also on Disney Plus, which is very, very good. My husband was just delighted because I got to tell you, my husband looked at Disney Plus and said, really, what's on it for me? You know, why Disney Plus for me? And they actually have chronologically set up the Marvel universe so you can watch them in chronological order and how they envelop in the universe, as opposed to when they came out in the theaters. Disney has gone that far to watch it. And my husband is so excited to watch it in that order. Whereas Terry is like, yeah, whatever. So there's something for everybody is all I'm saying. And that is the beautiful thing. Deanna's LOL. Yeah. It's like she heard me, right? Oh, thank you, Nate, about Patreon. Yeah, we'd love to have you there. There's always room for one more. Hello, Bobby. She found her diamond art on Wish, and it's a Disney scene. And what did you pay, like $2? And Bobby, did you see the video? You adopted some ghosts, so I hope you watched the video. Be sure to tell me what your decision is, okay, sweetie? If you didn't get the video, message me so I can make sure you get the video, or email me because I did send it out to you. I need to know I would like to have your decision before I open these up to the public. Okay, that happens next Monday. Actually, next Saturday to a couple of groups. I am opening up to everybody, these ghosts. So be sure you get with me to tell me your decision, okay? All right, because that's important. Yeah, you're right. Your diamond art on Wish, and it was a Disney scene. I got that. You did great. Oh, and Deanna says diamondart.com. Oh, they've got a website now. Uh-oh, this could be. And also, Deanna, Dr. D, as we call her, she also said there are bigger diamond art sets. So if you go to diamondart.com, like she's posted here, you might be able to get a larger set so you're not looking, trying to see or trying to hold those teeny tiny little tiles, right? You might have a little bigger tile. Be worth a look, and share it with us if you do that. That would be great. Anyone watching Prodigal Son? No. Is it good? Prodigal, right? Prodigal Son. Tell me about it. What do you like about it? Dumbo. Yes. Dumbo the original. Dumbo the original. Animated, not the live action. I will not see the live action. I did not like the previews. And one thing about some of these live actions, you can't unsee it. Like the original, like the first live action of Maleficent. I loved the way Angelina Jolie looked, but I hated that movie. And I could not unsee that movie. I didn't dislike it. I hated it. And I wanted so bad for it to not be in my mind and my heart. There's a scene in that feels like violating her. And I don't want to see that in a Disney film. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't. And I can't not see it. Dumbo just looked like something that I was going to wish I hadn't seen. So I do not want to see the live action of Dumbo, but I love Leo, the animated version. And I also love your picture here with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Yukon Cornelius, who is one of my favorite characters. So thank you for that. That's adorable. I have a sister-in-law named Bambi. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it funny how all the girls got named Bambi and Bambi's a guy? Of course, if a guy was named Bambi, what would that be like? Like, for real. Costco has the child Lego set. Well, you want to send me one, Deanna? Because I ain't going in Costco. Sorry. That might be kind of fun to have a child Lego set. Is it the kind where you build the full child, or is it flat? Because if it was the full child, I'd love to have that. That would be fun. Maybe I can get it on lego.com, because I'm not going to Costco. Costco here is part of the epicenter. So, no. I didn't even talk about when I had a car we took to the drag racing track. Now you're getting it, Deanna. Her talk was great. Learning about her animals and learning about how fur babies help you in your healing process was just beautiful. And that's kind of the part that I liked. And then, of course, this diamond art, which was like a left turn. Everybody was like, that's what we're talking about, but it was a lot of fun. And that would have been great. What are we going to have a Deanna part 2? Steven says, my friends who work in the Disney parks recently lost their jobs. Very talented people looking for other work. It's really a shame. One of the things about this, Stephen Wilderman, is that it will come back, but it is going to take a long time. And I think Disney, and this surprises me that I'm saying it actually, Stephen, but they will look to these people again. They'll look to bring them back, as many as they can, once their parks get up and running. The challenge with Disneyland is that we are a small and intimate park, and we cannot do what Disney World and the Magic Kingdom in Florida is doing, because we don't have that space. So that's the challenge for both. A California adventure park is a little bit easier because it was designed to be more spread out. But as you enter, it's not really. It's still tight, kind of like Disneyland is. So that's one of the challenges that they have to work through. And I'm hoping that your friends find work. What I would love to do is, hit up Disney Plus and see if they can talk about what they did, or simply start a YouTube channel of them getting on and talking about what they did. Have you watched any episodes of ENX? No. How do you say that? Nix? Tell me about it. I love to hear all the things. Oh, he says of Encore, a former theater arts student, you might really enjoy this reality series on Disney Plus. Yeah, Encore would be good. There was also one, what is it called? Where they talk about people and where they started and where they're going, artists it's pretty cool. Like the little young man from Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. He talked about how he went and saw The Lion King as a young boy, and then that's all he wanted to do was perform and dance and sing in The Lion King. That's on Disney Plus too. I can't remember the show, but I love it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. And it had Nick, the guy from the original America's Got Talent. He was great too. His journey is really good too. I loved him on America's Got Talent, and I miss him because he had such a big heart on the first few series of of America's Got Talent, where he really was all about making those people feel good and comfortable. And that's so important when you're doing a competition like that. You can get all into your nerves and just freeze. And he was just so good at it. And also, one of the best dressers in the history of television was Nick. His sherbet suits or his pastel, he just really, I love to watch. I tuned in every week to watch him, to be honest with you. Really didn't care about the judges. Sorry, judges. But loved what he would do and how he would do it. He was just such a good sport. And then they changed it. Maybe he got tired of doing it, or maybe they, who knows why he left, but I miss him. I just want him to know that I really missed him. I loved him on that show. It's been a marathon and you're hitting your stride. The production, yeah. It's getting better. It's getting better. Every day is better. We add a few ingredients, and now I'm working on my content to teach, to show you guys, to be able to peek into my life when I'm sculpting and when I'm creating some of these things that I'm creating, like the ghosts, for example. I'm also working, I'm going to do the chess set this year, the Rolly Crump chess set. And I'd love for you to be able to look in, but I need to position the cameras in such a way. Now, my husband says if I time it right, he might be able to just film me doing it. And that is a dream for me, is to have someone that's just like my husband. My husband is such a good, you've seen his work. He's amazing. So to just be able to sit down and say, here's my area, here's what I'm going to be doing. And he says he may have to start and stop me, but honestly, that ensures that you get a quality video to show what I'm doing. So we're talking about that. We've got a lot of things in the works this year to bring you all the content that we can. Hello, Henry. Great seeing you. He says, great seeing you, Kevin and Johnny, on the Beretta Brothers yesterday. Thank you, Henry. I'm glad you tuned in. I wish I got to see some of your comments, but I'm going to go back and watch it on my computer and get to see what some of you guys wanted to say, because I was kind of hoping, it's such a short time that we don't get to talk to you guys. We were so excited to see each other. I saw Kevin on the 30th anniversary, Henry, and then I didn't get to see him. And Steve, I haven't seen him forever. And Steve, I love Steve Whitmire. I am a big super, we had so much fun on that show. And then to see Jill in Wales and her husband, Mikey, Mikey was a real special guy. Oh, he still is. Mikey was this brilliant sculptor, and I was very interested in doing toy sculpture. I didn't get to tell the story, Henry, but Mikey did a G.I. Joe with his own head on the G.I. Joe. He sculpted a portrait of himself and put him on a G.I. Joe body so he could be an action figure. And I remember seeing that and just going crazy for it. I just thought, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. And Mike used to have like teeth hanging from his ears. He was a wild and crazy guy like Jill. They're a match made in heaven, actually. And so I would go down to the shop and watch him work and talk to him about his sculpting abilities. And he is really the one who began to inspire me to segue into toy sculpting, which is how I then ended up doing miniatures and ended up doing collectibles. It kind of is like you get fascinated, you want to learn about it, as I've been talking about today. And Mike was the guy. I saw him on this G.I. Joe body, him do this character. And later for my father-in-law, Keith Jackson, we did him as an action figure. That all came from Mikey. So those are the kind of stories I would love to have shared. But as the Beretta Brothers say, they only have a couple of hours in their show, so you don't get to do that. So I hope you will subscribe to my channel and then ask me questions, and then I can sort of build out things that we sort of touched on in the Beretta Brothers show. I'm happy to elaborate and maybe later on bring on some of them and we can talk longer, So kind of, give me a little of your input on that, if you will, Henry. And thank you for coming over and saying howdy. Morgan, better late than never. It's Martin Luther King Day. Perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of moving forward. If you want something that stops you in your tracks and keeps you from doing what you want to do, try to make it perfect. Seriously. Really. Just go and have fun. most people out there are in your corner. I found they were for me, and I'll be in yours. So, just go for it, what you want to do. This is the time to experiment and have fun, and you got the time, get up and get out and do something cool. I mean, cool. It may not be, if you're somebody who wants to experiment outside, you may not be so lucky as to do that, maybe because it's winter and maybe because you're in Southern California where 1 in 3 people have COVID, but you do what you can, right? Stay in your yard or do the best you can. One of the things that's happening in Southern California that I think is extremely, extremely creative is the car drive through dinosaur land or realm of the dinosaurs, or you stay in your car and they have all these audio animatronic dinosaurs and you can take it to learn about dinosaurs. And one lady said she really thought it was going to be cheesy, but she actually loved it. And it's near the Rose Bowl, which is in Pasadena, which is about 20 minutes from me. So I want to do that. I told my husband, that's one of the things I'd like to do is to go see this show. So I got to try and get tickets. I hope they're not sold out, and I hope they run it for a while, because this is something that I could go and do, stay safe in my car, and see something really cool. So there is outdoor stuff you can do, and more and more people are getting more and more creative to make it fun for people to do that. And I love that. I love that. So yeah, lots of clever stuff. Thank you so much, Angie. Angie says she's glad I'm on YouTube. I'm worth the wait. Yeah. Well, I have a friend who says he loves sitting in, he gets up early in the morning and he gets his coffee or his tea and he curls up under the covers all snugly and watches me from the comfort of his bed. I mean, how fun is that? How nice is that? To be in your covers and all warm, and you don't have to go anywhere, and you just got to sit there with your cup of tea and maybe a sweet roll and go, it's the time to be a little decadent, isn't it? Because why? You deserve it. Absolutely. Did you check out the Flaming Bagpipe Darth Vader on Unicycle YouTube channel? Yes. My husband says this guy has been around for decades. Now, how would my husband know about this guy? Because my husband plays the bagpipes. And he says this is an old video. He says this guy has history. It was new to me, but not to my husband, who plays the pipes. So among pipers, this guy has been around for a long time. My husband could even describe to you how he took certain parts out of the helmet in order to play those pipes. That's how well he knew this guy. So thank you for sharing, Melissa, because I said, have you seen this guy? And my husband went, old news. I know all about him. Isn't that cute? I thought it was cute. I have a cappuccino machine I use every day. But is it a good one, Deanna? Okay, so let's talk about this coffee a little bit, Deanna. According to my husband, a good grinder starts, get this, coffee grinder starts at $750. Yeah, unless it's a hand grinder, then it starts at $250. But as this fellow says, Mr. Coffee, as I'm calling him, and he would not appreciate me calling him that, but I will. He won't be watching my channel, I don't think. He says in order to make a good cappuccino with a hand grinder, you got to hand grind this son of a gun 36 times. So every time you make a cup, you're grinding 36 times. And he's like, no, don't want to do it. So he got a power one. Actually, he got a couple of them, but they start at $750. This is what I'm learning. The cappuccino machine, a really, really good one, apparently starts at around $2,000. Yeah. Right. This is for the rivet counters of Coffee World. Okay. This is for the rivet counters. We saw one that this fellow I've been telling you about, that's Mr. Gastronomy when it comes to the coffeeology. He's Mr. Coffeeology. He designed a cappuccino maker that you can have in your home or your coffee house. And it starts at, wait for it, like $6,000. Seriously, $6,000. And he's fine with this. So my husband is saying, wow, that is not what I'm going to have in my house. house. I don't drink enough cappuccino to warrant that investment of $6,000. But apparently there's some people who have invested in this amazing machine, and I saw it in action, and it is beautiful. I'm not going to lie. When you have the creme de la creme design something to suit himself, of course it's going to be something fantastic. So yeah, Morgan, would you like it? I can't get it to work, and it's worth about $25 right now because it is a dinosaur. Dinosaur. Yeah, and it is in the case. It has all the pieces. It's beautiful. But I looked on eBay to see, like, what are they going for? I Googled what are they going for? Like $25. Yeah, and mine is in pristine condition. But I was trying to figure out, had anybody been able to get it to work? And I don't think they can, but it is a beautiful piece of machinery. If you want to see it on the Ask Me Anything on Friday, hit Leo up in the questions and say, Terry, please show your lunchbox. And I am more than happy to show you what this thing looks like. I loved it. I used it. A lot of times though, my early stop motion animation was with a perfume bottle. So I had like a classic perfume bottle. It was shaped like this. So kind of like a, I don't know, if you looked at the bottom of Boba Fett's ship, maybe that's what I can tell you it looked like. And the idea was to make it look like it was scared or it was sexy. And I used the lunchbox to do those various exercises with it. I love that lunchbox. And I learned from it from Henry Selick and my friend Webster Concord, because they had me sit and showed me animation. I actually went up to their studios in San Francisco and learned about stop motion animation, and that's what they were using. Also, they were using the Mitchell 35 millimeter movie camera, which I don't know if people even do that anymore. But that was the one that they were coveting. It was an older camera, and Webster was explaining to me why many stop motion animators would grab this particular camera to shoot stop motion, much like quilters grab the Singer Featherweight. Do you know what the Singer Featherweight sewing machines are? Do you own one? I have 3. I have a commemorative edition and 2 others. I like it because of the buttonhole maker. But if you want a little walk through history, what's that old stuff? I'm more than happy to share that with you. In fact, let me write that down. What's this? What's this old stuff? There we go. Cool. Cool idea, actually. Okay. Thank you for saying that, Morgan, because I do love too. Whatever you create, I'll watch. I'd watch you do laundry because you're wonderful and have such a great vibe. Thank you. I don't do laundry though. I have to be honest, right, Angie? My husband does the laundry. I usually fold the clothes though. Okay, because he will fold the clothes, but he much rather throw the laundry in and dry it and then me fold the clothes. So I usually fold the clothes. But you know what? When you're folding the clothes in laundry, you start to tell yourself, I have way too many clothes for what I'm wearing. I tend to like to wear a certain set of clothes that maybe is like 10 outfits, and I keep over and over. But I think the reason my closet gets full is because of the potential of I might be going somewhere where I need that outfit. You know what I mean? And so did you realize that telling me you watch laundry, Angie, would segue into this conversation? Like I have this really cute skirt that this lovely woman bought me that's from Up, and I have it, and then I have vests because whenever I go to Paris, I've come up with this American in Paris kind of outfit where it's a vest and it's a skirt. And I love it, and that's what I tend to wear when I'm going on tour and I'm taking people through Paris to see things that they wouldn't normally look at. I'm always wearing a man's vest. I love those vests, and a full skirt usually, and some little loosey shoes because I'm not about heels. I want to run all over Paris, so I have the flat little slipper shoes that I love. And so though, you have that possible outfit, and then maybe you're going to be talking about something. Well, and then the one I'm wearing, which is my kimono that I finally got for my birthday, So you go through that closet and you go, can you throw anything out, or not really throw it out, but donate it to charity, something cool, let somebody have it, whatever. And yeah. So I think that's cute. Are you making storyboards for your animation, says Morgan. Behind me right here, you can't see it close up. Yeah. This isn't for my animation. This was for a film I did years ago. And you see the crossouts here? This means I shot it. So we put that up because behind there is a painting of me as a villain, and my husband didn't want that in the background for you guys to look at. It's pretty creepy. It's my friend Philo. He painted me as an evil villain because I used to play before the pandemic, and in a lot of films I played the bad guy. So I love playing villains, and so he painted me as a villain behind that. But Lindsay was like, "No, you are Disney and fluffy and fun." So that's why we have stuff like this. And this, which he kept saying he wanted to take out of the shot, but that mermaid tail stays because that's my baby right there. She's my girl. Leica Studios still makes stop motion film. Brinley shot in 3D, real light, real 3D objects in real 3D. Yes, Stephen, have you worked for them? I understand it's hell there. I'm not going to say who, but several people who worked there said it was not a fun experience to work there. And I'm sorry to hear that because I love them. I love their studio, but apparently it's like a sweatshop to work there. And that makes me very sad. Too much micromanaging. And honestly, here's the thing. If you let an artist, and Stephen, you know this, if you let an artist spread their wings, creativity abounds. Okay. Creativity just flourishes if you allow the artist to spread their wings. So as Henry said, he saw the dinosaurs thing yesterday. The thing that made dinosaurs so great was we were able to be creative and create. We did have a lot of pressure to go faster. That's normal in a TV production. But what we didn't have is people telling us how to do what we did. We created a character. They said, that feels good. Let's run with that character. And Baby Sinclair was one of the most powerful and dynamic and fun characters to do because John, Kevin, and I just clicked. But we had the freedom to explore, express, and experiment so that we could find that character. When somebody grips you too hard, you can't move. You can't do your work. And I hear Leica's like that. You tell me, Stephen, but I've had several people who have done some major stuff at Leica that left because it was just they were squeezing them too hard and they couldn't do what they wanted to do. So they said goodbye. And that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that because I love that studio. I mean, that such beautiful stuff is coming out of that studio. So maybe they'll be listening to this and maybe they'll say, hey, do we squeeze? You know, it's just like if you love someone, if you squeeze them too tight, it's like if you take clay and you squeeze it too tight, where does it go? It comes out of your fingers and it tries to escape. So you have to hold it tenderly. You have to love it gently, right? You have to love on it. Yeah, good luck with me and ending at 11, right? Good luck with that. And Deanna says, see you Wednesday. Yes, you will, sweetheart. And then she says, when are you doing a spotlight? Leo, that's a very good question, mister. When are you? Would love to hear your background. Don't forget Disney had stop action titles in a couple of films and in the long feature Father Noah's Ark, Bill Justin, and Existentio were the brains behind those excerpts. Absolutely. Disney did a lot of stuff. Okay, Disney did a lot of stuff. For example, in 10 Commandments, the spinning and the animation as the 10 Commandments are being created, pow, came from Disney animation. In Forbidden Planet, the lion roaring also came from Disney animators and artists. The invisible lion, that guy, too. So there's a lot of fun animations that were a part of from them. So Leo, you're absolutely right. And how fun it is to find those things. So look through the movies and you'll go, I wonder. Good morning, Michael Clarkey. A lot of people saying good morning to you today. Glad you're doing the broadcast again. It keeps me sane while I recoup after my hernia surgery. I'm so glad I'm here for you. I hope I'm not making you laugh too much. That's not good. Sometimes I do it and I don't even know it, right? So I'll try not to do it too much for you. Theme Park Gal say, speaking of WandaVision, Diane almost fell asleep again. Diane, are you just not getting rest? That could be it. You could be working too hard, like me. She says asleep. I know what she meant. Maybe she was asleep while typing this. Anyway, it maybe you just need rest. Because I was watching Lupin, Lupin, and it's a Netflix series based in Paris. So of course I'm there. Anything based in Paris. Like a Shot in the Dark. In Paris. Shot in the Dark with Peter Sellers. I will meet you in the shadows of Paris. So anything that has to do with Paris, I love it. And Lupin is about Paris. And it turns out that there is a book about Lupin, the gentleman thief, and it is French. Now, I think I mentioned this last Friday on the AMA, but if you have just joining me today, you don't know what I'm talking about, so forget it. I haven't said anything. But I was introduced to Lupin the Third, and I was introduced to it through Japanimation or animation anime as it's called now. And I fell in love with that series. So that animated series, Lupin 3, is about the great grandson, I guess, of Lupin from Paris. He's also kind of a thief as well. And it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining. But this Lupin, it takes place in France. It's a modern telling of it, and it's very, very good. Lupin. If you get a chance to see it, see it. But the first time I saw it, dear Diane, I fell asleep as well because I had just spoken with a lot of my people about the hitchhiking ghosts, and I had worried so much about these ghosts that after I shared it with the people who had adopted these ghosts, I went because I needed the sleep. So maybe it's just because you need the sleep, right? Yay. I'm not into superhero shows either, but I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I'm there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Walkman. Nah, it's Rocket. I don't care what Rocket's doing. Rocket and Baby Groot. And the two of them together just kill me. Just kill me. I wasn't a real fan of the, of what is it? The second one when he meets his dad and it's played by Kurt Russell. I really wasn't really into that part, the throwing the ball bit. So I always fast forward through it. I just watch it and fast forward through it because I want to get to the Rocket stuff. But I love Rocket in the ship when the guys are trying to terrorize him and he's hiding all over and creating all kinds of silly antics. And then I also love the character who says, Mary Poppins, y'all. He's great. I'm sorry he died, but what a great death. He just those characters just really interest me, and I can't even tell you why, because it kind of has the Guardians of the Galaxy has kind of a Hellboy slash, what else was I going to say? Can't remember the series. I'll remember it in a minute. And I wasn't a fan of those. I'm not a Hellboy fan except for the Fishman, which is my friend. And, I watch it because he's performing in it and I just love him and he's amazing. Doug Jones, just love Doug Jones. So I'll watch it for Doug, but honestly, full disclosure, I fast through until I see Doug Jones performing and then I stop and watch it. But now I have The Shape of Water. So I just watch that one because it's all Doug and it's wonderful. So, yeah, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Deanna. I mean, it's your taste. Not all of us can like the same flavor. And that's why we have so many choices and we can all share. As long as you have an interesting, fun, upbeat debate and don't start attacking each other personally, we're fine. Yeah. They did a great reshoot of each of the shows, and the actors make it work for money. They do, Michael. They do. It is really fun. Long time no see, Jeanette. How are ya? Look at that beautiful ocean picture. I miss the beach. No way I'm going this weekend, but I miss the beach. Thank you for doing that. That's how I felt about Lady and the Tramp live action when they made them talk. Yeah, Lady and the Tramp live action already. That's weird, right? Just weird. And you missed characters from the animated that really made a difference. You know, like, I'm sorry, you got to have Peggy Lee. And you don't have Peggy Lee. Thanks for playing. So I'm with you on that one, Michael. Bambi's mother was probably named Bruce. Jeanette, you are funny. That is just, that's wonderful. Mark Silverman, hello. You are a pleasant surprise. How are you doing? How are you doing? The voice of Tower of Terror. There is no other but Mark Silverman. Yes, indeed. Michael says, just tell them you're an Imagineer and have your SAG card with you, and I'm sure they will let you in for free. They might. You know the Walking with Dinosaurs clan? They knew I was a Muppeteer with Jim Henson, and I got to see behind the scenes, and that was wonderful. Yeah, those, boy, wasn't that a great show? That show was so good. You know, honestly, I don't know what puppeteers are going to do. I'm really excited about this vaccine because puppetry, you got to be on top of each other. If you watch the show like Kevin did, I talked about how Kevin and Clash and I are so close. I walked away smelling like his cologne. Yeah, no lie. I mean, Kevin always looked nice, dressed nice, smelled nice, and he was a puppeteer, you know. So you're kind of like, you know, I was like, okay, what clothes will work for crawling around in dust and dirt, you know? So it was great to, you know, but like I said yesterday, I talked about TV Guide and saying that my husband was, you know, I was grateful my husband didn't get angry because I come home smelling like another man, and it was Kevin Clash. But that is very sweet of you, Michael. Thank you. No hand grinder for me. Yeah, that was exactly what this fella said too. Aubrey, yes, Aubrey, you're so cute. I like a nice cup of Maxwell House. Mark, you are funny. You are funny. We were just talking about Maxwell House, Folgers, chock full of nuts. What were some of the others, 1950s? U-Ban. What else, Mark? And how nasty that coffee was. A big can like this of pre-ground coffee, which would make this guy I saw on YouTube lose it. I mean, he would lose it. That is what's so funny about it and what's so interesting. Maybe when you win, not if, when you win an enormous jackpot, you buy him the coffee grinder and the espresso machine. He's funny. He's so cute. I don't think, honestly, Leo, I don't think he's interested in the purchasing of it at all. In a perfect world, I think he'd like to meet this man, have this man make him an espresso, and them talk coffee together. He loves the journey. And that's what I'm talking about. Because you're at home and because you are isolated for the most of us, especially if you live in California, you have this opportunity to take a journey and try something. And if it doesn't work out, so what? Try something else. You have this freedom. This is one of the things it provides for you, is the freedom to create or do something you've never thought possible before. You just go do it. Hi, Terry. There's a new business in our town. Has the cappuccino machine that you could buy. We tried the coffee and it was amazingly delicious, he says. By the way, this is from Rose. Okay, so Rose says she's gone to, and coffee houses are popping up everywhere, eh? So this fellow whose name I can't remember, the first thing he says is Starbucks. Ooh. Coffee chains. Oh, dear. And there we have it again. It's just like if you make great tacos, right? And somebody says, I love the tacos from Jack in the Box. Doesn't that make you like a, ooh? I mean, seriously. Your favorite thing is to create the ultimate burger, and someone turns to you and says, I'd rather have McDonald's. That's gotta, they go, ooh, ooh. I remember I went on a bike ride, which I'm not going to tell you how bad I did on that. But there was a woman with one of the top cyclists in the world. I mean, this guy could take a bicycle and go straight up. At least that's what I believed about him. An amazing fella, loved to ride bikes. He was fast, he was strong, and he had this wife who read books. I really wondered how they got together because they couldn't be further apart. And we had the opportunity to sit with everyone and go to this really wonderful seafood restaurant. And I love anything, pretty much anything that swims in the ocean. Well, no, I won't eat whale and I won't eat dolphin. But, like salmon and mackerel and, I just love fish to eat. I'm a fisherman at heart. But we had this beautiful prepared fish and she wanted fish sticks. Yeah. The fisherman on the box that you cook frozen. And she asked this of the waiter. Yeah, I can imagine the chef when he came back and said, do we have any fish sticks? Sometime when you want to be, you believe in all people and someone does that, you can't help but go, because it catches you off guard. It really, really does. It's like I have a lovely friend who drinks red wine. She puts ice in it. I can't tell you how many sommeliers just go, but she likes it. Now, here's what Paris did. Paris, the champagne capital of the world. Paris. They created an ice wine. Instead of looking at that and going, ooh, which they probably did at first, they said, if there are people like this lady who like ice in their wine, how about creating an ice wine? And one of the bottles I brought back was for her so that she could add ice to the ice wine. So instead of being something that destroys the bouquet of the wine, it enhances it. Thank you, Paris and champagne growers, for thinking outside the box. And that's what I encourage you all to do as well. Because, hey, how cool is that? Hello, Joel. Have you ever seen Miyazaki's Lupin movie? Indeed, I have. The Castle of the... Yes, I have. Spielberg called it one of the best films ever, and he admired the car chasing. Of course he did. Well, Miyazaki's a rock star, isn't he? Did I ever tell you, Joel, the story of Miyazaki introducing me to sushi? And I'm just going to leave it there. That's an Ask Me Anything. As a young artist, before he designed Totoro. We both have a rocket. We do. Deanna has a rocket kitty and I have a rocket doggy. And they are delightful. If your rocket's like my rocket, Deanna, never a dull moment. Sanka. Yeah. Bob Sanka. What was Sanka? Oh my gosh. Or Tab. Do you remember Tab the soda, which stood for totally artificial beverage? Seriously, I thought it was a joke, but that's what it stood for. Totally artificial beverage. Tab in that pink can. You remember that? People used to drink that. Like they drink Coke Zero now and think it's healthy. Oh, did I say that? The other puppeteers will come home smelling like evening in Paris. Paris, yes. Terry, who loves Paris. Oh my gosh, she's such a Paris. We have a friend here that has a great bistro. Boulangerie. He came from Paris and he's lovely. And we keep saying we're going to get up early and go get, because his stuff sells out in the morning. And we just haven't been able to do it because being isolated, we don't, we have to be careful because we're told 1 in 3 has COVID and could infect us. So it means my neighbors have it. So you got to go, ooh, that's no fair. Thank you for the laugh, says Jeanette. We really need them and you get them. So what is my YouTube channel about and what is my live about? It crosses into different realms, as you've seen. But if I can say it has one goal, it's to help you come in from the cold, as I said before, and not have to deal with reality. We have so much reality, don't we? We have something coming on Wednesday, and we're a little nervous about that. We have the pandemic. We have so many other things that are personal to us that are extremely real. So why do I have to talk about that in the broadcast, right? We want to talk about fun, silly stuff like Sanka. Boy, when my mother wanted Sanka, I just was like, and as a kid, you're like, it was in it. What was in it? Wasn't it in an orange can? Unbelievable. I mean, yeah. And now, after watching that guy on YouTube who takes the beans, they grind to a fine damp, all this process, 15-minute pour, this kind of stuff. And I remember my mom in, what was it, a pound tub of ground coffee, which means it was dead before it even got there. And how these coffee people would be like, ooh, 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 ooh. One of the most fun about watching this fella is they send him coffee drinks, all kinds of drinks that are made in a can with coffee. And there was a Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee. And to watch him, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but just this coffee drinker drinking that was just the funniest video ever. So there are some great videos, and he really is about a day in his life. You just kind of, he recommends certain things and talks about the processes and talks about his attitude towards coffee, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And he doesn't even know I exist, but he's a mentor for me because I want to be able to bring you into my life without feeling like I have to perform like a circus dog, which I won't do. I'm too stubborn. I'm basically just going to do like this, but how do I do specialized channels so that you guys can learn other fun stuff too. So that's exactly it. I love you guys. 11:39, so I missed it by half an hour. I love you guys. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I could have said it's a holiday day and not shown up, but like my husband said, the best way to show you how much I care for all of you out there is to show up. So I did, and I hope you had a good time. If there's parts you missed, feel free to watch it over and over again. That's what they're there for, right? Whoop, 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 whoop. Do something fun. The weather is beautiful if you're in California. And if you're not in California, send me snow shots because I'll be jealous of you. I love the snow. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Let's see. Look at him. Dreams, Tang, and Ovaltine. See, Ovaltine is still good, though, especially the malt flavor. So Ovaltine is cool. A lot of that stuff is not cool, but Ovaltine is cool. And now we have the Ovaltine fight, right? No, the Ovaltine bout, like we like to say, right? Okay. Thank you. Well, this is part of it. The other one we'll see. You know, we're working on the things for you to be able to look over and see what I'm doing and ask me questions. It's all, for me, it's a learning process because I'm 63 and I'm much more happy. I'm happier seeing you live and in person. So for many people of the older sect, this is where we have a challenge. This is where we have trouble because we're used to seeing you. Holidays was tough, but one of the things we had to remember was we don't want to kill each other by getting together when you're not in the bubble. So yeah, for older people, I think for everybody it's tough. For little kids and older people, I think for everyone it's tough. But we're almost there. We're almost there, guys. So if I can help you, forget it for a couple of hours. I'm here for you, and we'll have more fun. Be sure to comment on what you'd like to see on the YouTube channel and here, and talk to Leo about the AMA coming this Friday at 9:25. Okay, we'll see you guys soon. I love you. Talk later. Be well, and keep it going. Stay safe. It's going to be amazing.